Hello, and thank you for attending this presentation on leading teams in the midst of conflict and creating an effective strategy for your business. So firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Suzanne Keenan. I'm a workplace mediator and run my own business, LK Mediation Services, based in Wiltshire. And here are some of my credentials. And as you can see, I've got a wealth of experience working with people within businesses for many years. So today I'm covering how does conflict in your business affect your business, and particularly when it's within a team, what impact it has on you as a business owner or as a leader, the benefits of team facilitation, and what strategies you can put in place at work. So how does conflict affect your business? Here are just a few examples of how it can affect your business. You may struggle to achieve projects, employees go off sick with stress, grievances are raised, employees are refusing to work with one another, high staff turnover, low morale, managers spending more time listening or dealing with squabbles. All in all, it affects your bottom line, whether it's through time, lack of productivity, or even worse, legal fees. A 2021 CIPD study found that workplace conflict is costing the UK employers approximately £28.5 billion a year, with experts warning an increase in hybrid working could make disputes between staff harder to manage. Well, this study was done in 2021 and we're now in 2024, and I can categorically tell you that a large proportion of the cases I deal with is due to hybrid working. ACAS said that the majority of the costs to companies follow workplace conflict come from resignations, absences and presenteeism, which together costs around £14.7 billion annually. Staff turnover was the single largest expense to employers. Next was employees taking sick as a result of conflict. When it ended in formal processes, particularly when a conflict led to resignation or dismissal. It's averaging at 1.7 million formal disciplinary cases in the UK a year, which included 760,000 grievances, costing on average £951 in management time per manager. So in total, formal procedures including grievances, disciplinary cases and disciplinary dismissals was costing businesses £12.8 billion annually. ACAS stated there's a clear benefit to everyone in handling problems as early as possible. Research has shown that employers should invest in early resolution of conflicts and put an emphasis on repairing employment relationships. An interesting study I read was on the Essex County Council, who did an internal review on how much conflict was costing them per grievance. They did this to see whether it would be more cost effective to look at in-house mediation. So in summary, they employed 17,000 employees over 500 staff, and they determined, which was verified by an audit team, that the average spend per grievance was £18,000. That's certainly food for thought. So not only does it impact the business, but it can have an impact to the leader or the manager or the business owner. And here are the common phrases I hear when I meet with those leaders. I'm stressed. I'm not sleeping. It's affecting my home life. My direct line manager is unhappy that my team isn't delivering. I'm becoming short-tempered, which is further upsetting my team. I'm starting to resent the team or my work. I'm just burying my head in the sand and hoping we'll all go away and sort itself out. It's not me, it's them. It's like dealing with children in a playground. So what I wanted to do was share some experiences with cases that I've recently dealt with that I've created within the team. So here was a business that was very hierarchical, that everyone stayed in their lane quite literally and didn't deviate. There was no cross-pollination. They didn't do any more or any less than what the job description stated. Sound familiar? There was little communication and frustrations built. When someone didn't deliver what they were supposed to, tempers started to rise. And instead of collaborating and talking to one another and supporting, they just complained about each other and blamed each other. Eventually, as nothing changed, the team members, out of frustration, one of them went off sick, and went off and did. The rest of the team went off and did what they thought they were supposed to be doing, without raising concerns until the point of stress. A member of staff went off with stress. Another member of staff stepped in, not really knowing what they were supposed to be doing. They unknowingly ruffled feathers as they were making errors, no fault of their own. Instead of the managers addressing it when the minor bubblings were appeared, it just escalated, and before you knew it, anger and grievances were raised and the team started to go off course and not achieving the end goal. Here's another scenario where we had the business owner who had a very clear vision about where they wanted to go. But instead of getting the whole team together and making sure they were all going off in the same direction, they decided that they were going to speak to everybody individually. Each person took a very slightly different stance on what the goal was. So they all started off at different points, interpreting the information differently and therefore going off in different directions. In turn, the culture turned into a blame culture as everyone believed that they were going in the right direction, and again, not achieving the end goal. But this is what the line managers saw. They saw this iceberg effect where they saw the key to employees, maybe the most vocal employees, not collaborating, being quite vocal with one another, maybe generating disputes. However, when they brought it to me, and I spoke to them completely impartial and really found out what was going on, and I started to dig under the surface, I've started to find that employees were all frustrated, but some were more vocal than others. But it was very clear that they were all going in different directions, interpreting the information differently, battling up against one another. However, they were afraid to raise it with the manager or the owner. Why? Because their beliefs are that the owner doesn't handle conflict and nothing will change. What you will also find is that there are going to be more people that are vocal than others. Therefore, the business focuses on the ones that draw the attention, so the people at the top of the iceberg, rather than focusing on the whole team. Then what happens is you have the two, maybe a few more key people that are more vocal, that are continuing to be more vocal. They then talk to their peers, or anyone that will listen, and give them their interpretation of what the situation is going on, making assumptions, who then talk to others, and then before you know it, silos start to appear. So before that happens, we need to make a clear stop point and intervene. So what is team facilitation and how does team facilitation work? Team facilitation is a form of mediation, however structured differently so that no particular individual is targeted. Just like mediation is still informal, voluntary and confidential, but structured and more in a workshop format. The mediator or the facilitator uses the same techniques as mediation, but with added exercises that are bespoke to the issues at hand. So it depends on what tools we use. They use skilled questioning and active listening, drill into the needs and beliefs of the individuals to ascertain the heart of the issues, manage the discussions effectively to ensure all parties are able to contribute and leave with everyone's buy-in to an agreement. Although team facilitation can be carried out in-house by an in-house mediator, HR professional, or skilled personnel, you will find having an external provider adds that impartiality and enables to provide the participants with the confidentiality to enable them to speak freely. And you'll find that that's hugely powerful. Each member of the team is met with individually for about 1 to 2 hours with the facilitator, and this enables the facilitator to get a full 360 understanding of what's going on from their perspective. They'll understand if there's any additional factors, such as personal issues going on, and whether there is a common denominator. This enables the facilitator to tailor the next stage, which involves all the parties, to address key issues, for example, communication or clarity of goals. If it's identified, it is clear that there are some clear relationship breakdowns, then they may also address that separately throughout the mediation process prior to the team facilitation. The facilitator may also feel it beneficial to use techniques such as behaviour profiling exercises to allow the participants to understand how to communicate and operate differently to tailor everyone's different styles of working to get the best out of others. I also find it's also the first time that the whole team have been physically in a room together for either a very long time or if ever. We teach to respect other people's views and contributions, look at listening skills, communication skills, along with how they can move forward. It is hugely beneficial that managers are also involved in the process. So what strategies could you take to manage conflict within a team? There are 3 fundamental things to remember. If you take away nothing else from this talk, please remember these 3. Number 1, walk towards the conflict. Don't ignore it, shy away from it. It has to be addressed. The key thing is to handling it right. Now, no matter what you think or why there may be a conflict in the first place, erase it from your mind. Don't assume anything. I promise what you think the cause is, it is highly unlikely that it is. It's likely to be something completely different, and there'll be a much bigger issue going on underneath. And number 3, ask open questions and then be quiet and listen. And I mean really listen to what is being said. Don't listen and then start thinking and formulating an answer and making assumptions. Remember, don't assume. There are a couple of exercises you may want to try in-house, remembering these 3 points. Firstly, meet with your teams individually and listen to what they have to say. You don't have to promise anything, just listen and understand. If you feel there are parties that would benefit from a facilitated conversation and you feel you or someone may be able to facilitate it, encourage it. Always remembering, move towards the conflict, don't assume, and listen. If you've got a small group and you feel comfortable facilitating it, make it fun. Consider a tool such as a ball so that whoever has the ball talks and the others listen. You may want to limit the time frame of who's holding the ball, maybe 2 to 5 minutes that they talk, and that everybody else understands that they are there just to listen. Consider flip charting, capturing key points, or reoccurring points. So these are a few basic approaches to use in-house, but for more complex issues, or if you feel you need impartiality of an external provider, you may want to consider getting a qualified team facilitator in. This also means that the manager can be involved in the process. So here are some helpful tips to remember. Don't automatically assume that it is one key employee that is causing the disruption in the team. Don't automatically assume it is just a 2-party conflict. Don't forget, if there is a conflict mainly going on between 2 parties, that it won't have an effect on the rest of the team. Don't underestimate the power of communication, and that includes active listening. Understand the value of impartiality. Make sure your goals are clear. Do regular check-ins. Address mumblings before they escalate. Embrace team members' strengths. Everybody has a wonderful quality and a contribution to bring to that team. And remember, don't assume anything. Do what you say you're going to do, because the staff will remember what you promised and if you didn't deliver. Remember, what is important to you may not be important to others. And see other people's perspectives. It doesn't mean you have to agree on their perspective, it just means you have to understand their perspective. Don't bury your head and hope it goes away, because it won't. And if you feel you can't manage it, get support. Remember this, people don't enjoy being in conflict, but don't always know how to handle it and are seeking for someone to take control of the situation and guide them through it. If not handled, it creates stress, sleepless nights, worry, and impacts home life. So thank you for attending. Feel free, if you have any questions, to email me at resolution@LK Mediation Services.